All right. Okay. So, guys, we are live. All right, guys. So, we are live. So, go get your friends and everyone to join us for today. Okay. So, let's wait for others to join us. You're all welcome. So, if you're live with us here, kindly share this to your friends while we wait for the next 3 minutes to allow every other person to join. All right, guys. So if you are here and you can hear me, you can just say hi on the comment section. Say hi if you can hear me. We'll be starting very soon. We are waiting for others to join us. You are all welcome. We are live and we are just waiting for every other person to join us. Some persons are still trying to connect to us. All right, guys. So if you are here, I will kindly seek that you click the share button and share this to everyone. Tell your friends, tell everyone around that we are live. All right, everyone. So we're here and we'll be starting immediately. So I want to welcome you all to today's session of Ascend Web Development Bootcamp. We're in day 4. So we've gone through day 1, day 2, day 3, and here we are in day 4. I understand that it's not always easy, especially for beginners and everyone who is looking out to start a career in web development, especially if you are starting this for the first time, if this is your first attempt. I understand that there are glitches, there are challenges, there are blockers that you will encounter at your first few uh, weeks of starting your career in tech. I had my own situation when I was about starting, right? So, but I will encourage you to keep pushing, don't give up. It's actually a beginner experience. And after a while, you are going to pass and get to pass this very stage and become more comfortable with the tools. Okay, so yes, guys, let's look at last week we took our first real step into the world of HTML. Okay, so we did some practicals. We looked at the structure of a web page. We looked at the doc type HTML, the head, the body. Let me share it on the screen here. So we looked at some of the things like, let me share some of the things we looked at. Um, So please let me know if you can see my screen. So when you can see my screen, please type, I can see your screen. So I'm sharing my screen right now. I believe everyone can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please type, I can see your screen. So please let me know if you can see. All right. All right, guys. So this is what we looked at last week. This was the structure of what we looked at last week. And we were able to treat the basic structure of the HTML page. So if you are finding it hard to understand what I'm showing you on the screen, please I want you to visit day 3. The video we had, the session we had on day 3 is still on this channel. Go to our live sessions section. You will look at our day 3 video. So look at it and it will give you a proper onboarding and foundation to what we'll be doing today. Okay, so we looked at the HTML structure, we looked at the head tag, we looked at tags, we looked at elements, we discussed the head tag, we discussed the body, and we also looked at some basic tags like header, paragraph, image, and some other things. So in our last class, let me show you guys what our page looked like in our last class. Let me share the page here. So in our last class, we looked at this page. This was what we built in our last class. We built a page with an image and some text. We added a video, live session video here, right? We added it on the page. We also created a form where you can type your username, type your password, and then click on login. So this was what we did last week. Okay, so we just did this. Of course, this is not very beautiful right now, but this is the foundation and the basics you need to have before you can start doing more advanced stuffs. Yeah, of course, we know that there are more advanced, more beautiful websites out there, and this is not where we are stopping, which is just a foundation that we are laying for you to gain the basic skills you need to build more advanced stuffs. Okay, so in today's class we'll be looking at more stuffs. We'll be going deeper into some elements. I'll be looking at some element like the heading, paragraph. We'll look at lists, and we're going to also look at links. That's what we call hyperlinks. All right. So these are some basic things I'll be looking at for in today's class. All right. Uh, so let me bring it home with, let's say, sample story. Let me bring it home. So imagine you are writing a letter to your friend, right? You want to write a letter to someone, your friend somewhere. You want to send a letter to your friend somewhere. Okay. So in that letter, at the top, you write your title, something like, let's say you want to describe your about your trip to Lagos. You write my trip to Lagos. That's your heading. That's the title of your letter. The normal formal letter we have or informal letter anyone. So you first of all you have the heading of your letter at the top. Then you start telling the story in few sentences, right? So you have the first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, just that way. Okay, so that's what we'll be discussing today. How you can write that heading with HTML, and also how you can write paragraphs with HTML. So you can also bear with me that if you are doing this with, let's say, a Microsoft document, the heading will be highlighted possibly in a bigger font with a bold font as well, just to make a difference between the heading and the paragraph text. Okay, so the same way, that's the same way it is done in HTML. Okay, so maybe you want to share the things you bought at the market, experiences you had along the way, right? So you write them in a list. For instance, in your letter, you want to share that you bought some items in the market, or you got some items as you are going. Let's say you got a bag, a shoe, an exercise book, you got some snacks along the way. You want to write a list of all these things that you bought. You will be using a list. You'll be writing it in a list form. That's what lists are in HTML. Okay. So and then let's say you are, if this was like an article, I believe you have read some articles in Wikipedia or in other websites, right? For instance, if you go to Softzenith website, let me show you Softzenith website. Let me use it to describe something. So when you open Softzenith website, let's say Softzenith, it's come. So this is our official website. Now, if you come here, you would see let's say, let's go to about us. So right here, you are going to see we have a header here. This is the header. And then we have paragraphs. These are paragraphs. This is a list. This is how lists appear in HTML. So we are writing a paragraph, and at a point you wanted to list out some items. Okay, so we use this form. There are different kinds of lists in HTML, and we'll be looking at those lists and how you can create those lists in HTML. All right. So now that we have this as our list, and then we have our paragraphs as well, right? So now, if you come here, you you want to enroll. This is another paragraph entirely, and then if you click on this, it will take you to a different page. Can you see it? So there are these are called links. When you click on them, they take you to different pages, different sections of the website, right? So that's what links do. They are called hyperlinks. They help you to move from one part of the website to another. So a website has many different pages inside, and for you to move from one page to the other, we make use of links to navigate from one page to the other. So this is what we'll be discussing in today's session. So we're going to look at how you can create a header like this one here, like this one here, create a header like this, create a paragraph like this one here, and also create a link like what we have in these places. When you click on them, it takes you to different places. This one is a link and say read more. So you have a header here, you have paragraphs here. You can see the difference between paragraph and headers. The headers appear in bold form, and they also have a bigger size of font. Then paragraphs appear in a smaller form. They have smaller sizes of fonts, and they are not bold, so that's different. And if you click on, look at this, you click on read more. If you click on it, you can go to another page. That's what we call a hyperlink, a text that when you click on it, it takes you to a different page. And then we have a list. This is list, right? So these are samples that we have for our website, and we'll be looking at all these samples in our session today, right? So like I've said, headers are like bold titles in the newspaper, in your articles. So they help you to organize pages and tell readers what a particular section of a page is about, right? So having said all this, let's dive into the practical. So we're going deep into using our code editor to start writing code immediately. All right. So we'll be looking at how we can create these experiences that I just displayed to you guys using your code editor. I've explained to you the last time that for you to start writing code, that you need a code editor. So I believe most of you have downloaded your editors. You have Visual Studio Code, and then there are many other editors out there you can download. And if you're using your phone, yeah, you can also look out for code editors, HTML code editors on the Play Store of the operating system you are using. Let's say if you're Android, you can get code editors with Play Store. If you are on Mac, or sorry, if you're using an iPhone, you can go to your code editors within your App Store. So all you need to do is go there and type HTML code editor, and that's what you have, right? So please, if you have a code editor, can you tell me the name of your code editor and the editor you are using? So it's good that you know the name of the editor you are using. So let me know the name of your editor. Just drop the name of your editor right here. So now this is what we'll be treating today. Like I mentioned, if you look at this, these are headers and these are paragraphs. So we have a list. This is how a list appears. I've showed you everything. So let's dive into our code editor. I'm using VS Code. Okay, let's start using VS Code. That's good. I'm also using VS Code. So VS Code, if you're on your laptop, you can use VS Code. But if you're not on your laptop, let's say you are with a phone, you want to use it with a phone, yeah, you can get it. Just search for it and you'll have it. All right, guys. So let's go into our code editor. So this was the last. This was our. This was our code for the last session. Sorry. So if you are looking for this code, let me drop the link where you can find the code. I'll drop the link in the comment section. So with this link, you can find our code, the one we have for the last session. Right now, we'll start. Let's start a fresh HTML page. Let me create a folder for day 4, and inside our folder right here, we'll create an index page, index.html. Then we can start writing. First of all, we have our doc type HTML, which is the indicator of the version of HTML we want to write. So when you do open and close and you have this, the next thing you do is open and close HTML. You close it, and then you also write the closing tag here. This is the closing tag. Remember how you write your closing tag? Let me do it afresh so you see it. When you come, you write this and you write type HTML. Okay, so that's how your closing tag works. Okay, so remember, everything we'll be writing goes inside this HTML. This is the boundary of our website. Everything about our website would happen inside here. Okay, so what will happen is that we have two parts of our website, like I said before in the format in the previous class, that will have the head part and the body part, the head and the body. So let's define these two parts of our website. The head, we'll close it. Head. This is where we'll write everything about head. Everything about our head will be inside here. Then we'll have the body. The body. Do not close. Then we'll have the body. Sorry. The body. So you save it. Let me know if you have come to this point. I hope you are following. If you're not following, you can ask your question on the chat box. If you're following, can you say yes, I'm following? Can you just type yes, I'm following on the chat box, and I will proceed. We've had the head, and then we've defined the head, we'll define the body. Please type yes, I'm following on the chat box. So this is the entire HTML from top to bottom is entire HTML. So we have the head, this is the head, then we have the body, this is the body. So inside the head is where we define the title of our page. So let's define the title. Title, and we close the title. Remember I told you that a HTML element is made up of an opening tag and a closing tag. And this is how the opening tag appears. The opening tag appears this way without a backslash, and the closing tag appears with a backslash. Right? So this is what it looks like, and the name of this element is title. What this element serves for is to define the title of our website. So anything between the opening and the closing of this element would be used as a title of the page. So this is more like what defines the boundary of where we should write our title. Okay, so the opening and the closing tag defines the boundary of where we should write our title. So let's go ahead and write our title. So say our title for today's bootcamp. Okay, let's start with, let's say, Ascend Web Development Bootcamp. And we have day 4. So we'll save it. Let's try to run this. So right here, if I go to my file explorer, if you go to your file explorer, or you can just do, when you come here, you can right click here, copy path, and paste it on the browser. Or I have an extension that I've downloaded here that helps me to run this on my browser without going through this stress. So I will show you people how to do it at this point before you install the extension. So what you will do is when you click on this file, this is the file we've developed, do a right click, and then come down and copy part. Copy this part. Okay, go to your web browser, paste it, hit enter, it will open the website. Right now, we have this as index.html. So let me go to the web browser and put it. So watch me as I open my browser. So I will paste it here on the browser. On the browser, hit enter. So you can see that we have a blank website because the body of the website is what should display, but we don't have anything inside the body yet, so nothing displayed. What we have defined currently is just the title of the website. And if you look at the top part of this, if you look at the top part of the tab of your browser, if you get to the tab of your browser, you will see the title written at the top tab of your browser. So the title is always written at the top tab of your browser. If you're on a laptop, you will see it. If you're on a phone, you'll also see that the name of the current page that you are browsing will be called Ascend Web Development. The same name you gave to it in your title tag. Okay, so let's go back. All right, guys. Okay. So we go back to our editor. So right here we have our title defined already. So let's go into the business of the day. So we want to write an article. Okay. So we want to write an article. I don't know what type of article we're writing. So let's write an article about HTML. So let's say the title of our article, what we want to start with is Introduction to HTML. Okay. So first of all, we'll have to define the heading at the top, H1. There are we have H2, H3, H4. The difference between these is them. So H1 is bigger than H2, H is bigger than H3, and then to H6. So when we do H1, we want to write the heading for our page. Have H1, open and closing H1. And in between open and closing H1, we'll write the heading. Let's say the heading is Introduction to Web Development. Let's save it. Let's go to our browser and refresh the page where we pasted our link initially. Okay. So you save with Control S. If you're on your mobile phone, you will see a button where you click to save it. So please, guys, also don't forget to invite your friends to join this session. You can share the link with them, tell them to join us that we're live. Even after the session, don't forget to subscribe and share the link with your friends to watch this session afterwards. All right, so we will go to our browser. We'll open your browser. We have our page. Remember, it was empty, so let's refresh. When you refresh it, you will see our title has appeared. Introduction to Web Development. So now that we have a title, let's start writing the content that we want to write under this title. Okay, so let's write our first paragraph. Let's go back to our editor and write our first paragraph. So remember, as I mentioned in the last class, that um, each tag has a field or a region of influence. And each region of influence, just like we have magnetic field, electric field in physics, every tag has a field, has a region where its influence find. Tag a closing of the tag. So anything written between this opening H1 and closing H1, something. So the H1 has an influence, it has an impact, and anything written in between the opening and closing H1 here will be affected by the impact of H1. What is the impact of H1? The impact of H1 is that anything written in between its field, the opening and closing H1, will become a header. It will convert it to a form that will make it a header. If you are in Microsoft Word on Google Docs, for instance, and you want to type a header, when you type, after you type, you will highlight it and possibly do Control B or do bold and then increase the font size. Automatically, this H1 does that for you whenever you surround any text with the opening and the closing H1 tag, that is the H1 element. I hope you guys are following. If you are following, I'm following, so that I would know that you are following. Just drop a comment and say I am following, and I believe you can hear me very well. So right now, we'll start writing our paragraph. We'll write the first paragraph. So this is our paragraph. Uh, let me remove this and start. Let me remove this. Okay, let's see how we write our paragraph. We do open and close. P tag is P. The name of the tag for paragraph is P, just P. This one is H1, H and 1, but this one is just P. So you do your open and close P, right? So inside this, you start typing anything you want to be in the first paragraph. Remember, in your article, you can have as many paragraphs as you want. So you can say web development is okay. So let's use this. This is what we'll type inside. So web development is work involved in developing a website for the internet, the World Wide Web, or an intranet. Okay, so let's just have this for now. So you can see that this is my first paragraph, the first opening and closing. Let me write more stuff. Let me type more stuff. So I want you to understand that in HTML, everything works as commands. You know that if you are typing in your Microsoft Word and if you hit enter and you give a space in between texts, that space will appear. But in HTML, it doesn't work that way. HTML will clean all these white spaces and join everything together. So if you want to give a break, there is a tag for it. I will show you later. There's a tag for it. For today, we'll not look at it. I don't want us to have many tags, discuss many tags today. So let's save this. Remember, everything here was written inside the opening and closing paragraph. So this is our first paragraph. Okay, so when you save it, let's go to our browser and refresh the browser to see what it looks like. So remember, this is our browser. The last time we refreshed the browser, we had our title. So if we refresh again, you will see the paragraph. Have you seen it? So right there, we had a line break in between this place, but it was cleared. It didn't appear. So for line breaks to happen, there is a dedicated tag for line breaks. I will share with you later, but not now. For now, let's stay with this. Okay, so this is our first paragraph. Anything you type in here will all be joined together into one paragraph, the way you write paragraphs in your letters. So if you want to have another paragraph, you want to have a new paragraph, you have to create an entire different paragraph tag, a new different paragraph tag. You can use as many different paragraph tags as you wish. Okay, so let's go back to the I hope you are following. Please, if you are following, I want you to say, I am following. If you're understanding this, please say, I can understand this very well. If you're enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. If you have a question, can feel free to drop your question. So right now we have our first paragraph. Let's have our second paragraph. The second paragraph would come after the first paragraph. They are not in the same uh, they're not in the same paragraph. So don't put, you can write paragraph inside paragraphs, but for now, that's not what we want to do. So we want to have our paragraphs separately. So we have to do another P. Then have to do another P. So right here, we can start typing whatever I want to type again. So this is our second paragraph. Let's save. I go to our web browser and refresh. If you're following, I wanted to say I'm following. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask your questions. So right now, this is our first paragraph and the header. Let's refresh to make the first paragraph appear. So you can see that we now have a new paragraph. This is the first paragraph and this is the second paragraph. So we can have more headers as well. We can have more paragraph as we wish. Okay, so let's say for instance, you want to have a paragraph, another header. Let's say, um, let's go to, all right, Esther is following and enjoying. Is Esther the only one following and enjoying? We have more people here. Can you guys give me a feedback about how you feel in the class? If you are hearing me very well, if you can see my screen, please, I want you to type, I can hear you, I can see it, I'm enjoying it, I'm following. So go to our editor again. So this is our editor. We want to have another header. For this time, I want to have a subheader, not just the main header. So the main header was introduction to web development. We can give another header. So instead of H1, let's use a smaller header, H2. And inside this, it's open and close H2. So let's let our subheader be the web browser. That's our subheader. So we want to have another subheading, something not the main heading, but a subheading. Okay, so we'll use H2. We want it to be a subheading. Remember, subheading, the font for subheading is always smaller than the font for the major heading. So that's what I want to achieve. I've saved it. Let me go back to my browser, open my browser, and show you what it looks like. So this is it. If you refresh our browser, you can see that we have, this is H2. You can see that the size of H2 is smaller than the size of H1. Okay, so the H2 here is a subheading, so we're giving it this. So let's go back to our editor and proceed. So right now, let's write another paragraph under the subheading P, open and closing of our P. So remember, we have create the P, we open and we close it, and everything that we want to write under this paragraph will be written in between the opening and the closing P. Okay, so so this is the content I have. You can see it. So let's also have another subheading under the web browser. So I want to have types of web browser. Let's say this one will now be H3. 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 We have, in our H3 we have types or examples. Let's say examples. So right now, this example, I want it to be a list. I don't want it to be a paragraph. So I want to create a list. The same way we have list. There's a tag for list, and we have different types of list. We have what we call an ordered and an unordered list. Okay, let me put a paragraph here. We can put a paragraph here. We have, there are many examples. Okay, so like I mentioned, we have the ordered list and the unordered list. Let me type it for you in the comment section. Have ordered list and unordered list. So an ordered list is just a list that has an order. Okay, so it can be a list with numbers, indexes like 1, 2, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 down. An unordered list is a list that does not have an order. So you can use asterisks, you can use bullet signs, and many other things to signify it. Okay, so let's come here. So there is a tag for listing. So let's use an unordered list. The tag for unordered list is UL, unordered list. Okay, so whenever you do UL, open and close UL, that's unordered list. You can see it. This is UL. So inside the UL is where we'll write our list. If you just type anything inside this UL, let's say Google Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox. Let me show you. We have a Microsoft Edge, we have Safari, we have Opera, we have Brave, we have Brave. These are different kinds of uh, browsers. So let's go to our web browser. Let's go to our Chrome and refresh to see what's going on. So when you refresh, you can see that this is our H3. It appeared well, lesser than H2. So we have H3, H4, H5, H6. You can try it out at your end and see how it looks like. The same way we write H1, H2, H3. The sizes are different. Okay, so now we have this as a paragraph. So this is what we have in our list. It's supposed to be a list, but it was written in a single line. Remember, I told you that HTML does not respect white spaces. So if you give a white space, HTML does not observe your white space. So let's take, for instance, we have here let's open our editor again. So for instance, here you can see that we have a new line. We did a line break, hit enter, all these things are written in new lines. But HTML does not observe that there is a new line. There's a space between this first and this one. So until you use a tag to signify it, HTML will write everything in one line. So now we are doing a list. We have written our list. On other list is what we want. But Ramesh still needs a tag to identify each of the elements of the list. Okay, so for each of the elements of the list, you are going to surround them with a tag called the li tag, the element item, the list item. Okay, so each element we have will be surrounded by a tag called list item. If you don't surround it by a tag called list item, HTML will not identify them as the items that are under this list. So we'll copy this Google Chrome and put it here. Okay, and do the same for every other one. li Mozilla Firefox. We copy it, put it in between the open and the close of the li. Remember, these list items must be inside the unordered list tag. Okay, so okay, so give it, yeah, put it here. Li, put it here. Put it here. Okay. You can see everything is here. This is each of them surrounded by li tag, li element to show that the element is list, and then this and this shows that this whole thing, this must be inside the list tag itself. Okay, so when we refresh our page, sure, let's open our web browser and refresh our page. This is our page here. So when we refresh, you can see the difference. So because we've surrounded them by the item tag, the HTML was able to pass them properly as elements, as members of the list, and put in these dots, dots, dot, dot. So the reason why we have these dots is because we are using unordered list. So if you want this, let's say something like 1, 2, 3, we have to do it this way. So let's copy this, the same thing, stance, the same thing. Let's come here. Let's have another header. Let's use H4 this time around. Let's say websites. Programming. There's a web programming. Sorry, programming languages. Okay, so we can have a paragraph if you want. There are many programming languages. So now this is how it works. Instead of using UL, we will use OL, which shows ordered list. Can you see the difference? In this place, we use UL on ordered list, and we had our list item inside. So in this case, we are going to have OL instead. Okay, OL. So we can decide to have a paragraph here or not. We can decide to have a header here or not. But for you to appropriately represent an ordered list, you need to have OL. And inside this OL element, every other list items will be inside there. Remember, I told you the need for this li. It helps HTML to format it properly as a list item. Okay, so but when this is OL, HTML uses numbers or alphabets. Well, I will show you how you can switch it to alphabets. Sorry, can you see my screen? Okay. Yeah, so if you want to use letters, I will show you how you can use letters. So I wanted to confirm if you saw my screen for unordered list. Let me share my editor again. I think you did not see my screen for unordered list. Let me start afresh for this unordered list. So look at what an ordered list look like. I believe you can see my screen right now. So this is my screen. Remember we had this as the ordered list UL. This is the ordered list UL, and this is the list items. So everything has to be inside this UL element. Okay, and this element li, the list item element, helps to tell HTML that each of these items are separate members of individual members of the list that we're about to create. Okay, so without this li, HTML will not be able to identify the individual members of this list item. If you remove it, it will write everything as a single line, as we have seen. But because this is UL unordered list, HTML use bullet points to represent them. Okay, so but when you want to create an ordered list, the pattern still remains the same. Okay, so we have this h4. Like I said, I created this h4 as a header, a subheading under these example software browsers. So this is a bigger size than this. We also have H5, we have H6. So the higher the number, the lesser the size of the heading. H6 is the last one. So you can decide to have this paragraph here. If you don't like, you can remove it. Okay, so, and then for you to create an ordered list, you use OL. You have the opening OL tag and the closing OL tag. And right here, you create your list item inside this OL. All the list items will be represented with li elements. Okay, so if we save this, the same pattern holds for both unordered list and ordered list. The only thing that changes is that on ordered list is OL and unordered list is UL. Okay, so with this HTML, we identify that you are doing an ordered list and use numerical numbers to represent it. You can also make HTML use alphabets like A, B, C, D, or even Roman numerals like I, V, V, and all those stuff. So we're going to treat that in our upcoming classes. I don't want to touch that at this point, but it's a possibility. It can happen. So, but the default representation that HTML gives is with numbers. Yeah, Esther, you asked that question. I believe I've answered you. So we're going to have that in one of our upcoming live sessions. So we've already have this on ordered list. So let's refresh our browser. So you can see that we have an ordered list appearing here on the browser. Guys, so I'm so happy to see this. If you're happy, can you say yes, I'm happy to see this? Are you happy to see this ordered list and unordered list? If you're happy, please type I'm happy. Okay, so at the end of this class, I'll drop a link. Even the link will also be in the description of this video. We'll add the link to the description of this video. The link to today's session will be there. Okay, so please feel free to look at it. The link to today's code or the code, we are going to send them to GitHub. We will also treat GitHub during one of our sessions, but not at this point. So we will be sending them to GitHub. So at GitHub, you can download them, import them into your PC, and run them to have the same experience that we are having here. Okay, so quickly, let's go to the last part of what we'll be treating today, and that is links, hyperlinks. We have internal links and we have external links. Let me show you what internal links look like. Let me look for Softzenith website. I think we should have an internal link somewhere. So if you look at this website, we have a contact form here. This is the home page, and the contact form is somewhere at the bottom of this home page. So this is our home page. When you open it, but the contact form is somewhere at the bottom of this home page. See it here. So we have a link at the top. This is the contact. When you click on this contact, it takes you down to this bottom. I seen it. So it doesn't open an entire new fresh page for you. It takes you down. That is what we call an internal link. Okay. And we'll be creating that later on in the class, but not now. For today's class, we are going to create external link. So external link takes you to a different page altogether. Okay. So let's come here. For instance, if you click on this project, it will open a different new page altogether. That is what external links are. Okay. So well, there are different definitions that people give to internal links. Some persons say that internal link will take you to a page on the website, so a section of the website. Some say it takes you to, while external links takes you to other people's website. But this is my definition of internal links. Internal links are links that keep you in the same page, whereas external links are links that take you out of that page to another page. I believe you guys are following. So let's go to our, let's go back to our editor. Okay, so let's say that we wanted to create a link to our last website, the one we created in our last class, right? So let me have a h5 tag here saying last class is our h5. It's just at the bottom of our page. If you look at, so so I believe you can see my screen very well. So this is h5. We also have 6. Can have h6. So we have this h6 here. So this is how, let me remove all this. So if you want to create a link, right, you use a tag. A is the element we use for links. The name of the element is A. Anything written here will become a link. So let's write a text here and say website for the 3. So anything written in between this open and closing A will become a link. So the impact of A on anything written inside that, it turns it to a link. So let's save this, go to our website. Let's share it. So this is our website. So when we refresh, you have to scroll down. You can see it. This is website for day 3. Look at our H5 and this is our H6. They still appear in both formats, but the sizes are small. This is H1, this is H2, this is H3, this is H4, this is H5, and this is H6. They are all in bold characters but small fonts, right? So this is supposed to be a link, but when you click it, nothing happens, right? The reason is that there is what we call attributes in HTML, and we'll start treating them later in our class. So attributes are more like instructions that you give to tags to perform a particular action. Okay. For instance, we have a ordered list here. With the help of attributes, you can make this ordered list and tell this ordered list, don't use 1, 2, 3, use ABC or use the Roman numerals. So there are specific configuration or instructions that you can give to your tags. So this a tag is expecting an attribute before it can start working. And one of the attributes it is expecting is the attribute that you tell it which link to use. Okay, we can use different kinds of link. We can use a link to softzenith.com. We can use a link to google.com. We can use different kinds of links. So let's put links here. Let's go to our, if you are still following, please hit the comment section and say right on, I'm following. If you love this session, say right on, I love this session. So let's share. Let me show you my editor again so that you can see and appreciate links. So right here, this is supposed to be a link to the 3 website. So it's expecting an attribute. An attribute is written inside the tag, the opening tag. So the name of the attribute that it needs is called href. Okay. So this href expects what we call a URL. A URL to the website we want to open when the link is clicked. Okay, so this is the URL to, I'll teach you how to create this URL later, but this is the URL to our day 3 website. Okay, this is the URL to it. We can also create different links. Let's say create links to Google. Okay, let's create link to Softzenith. Let's create link to Facebook. So you can create different links. So right now, what you need to do is for each of these links you create, you will tell the H1 where to lead you to. So we need href equal to https google.com. So I want you to take me to this google.com whenever I click on this link here, this one here. So you can see it. Like I told you, the impact of this tag will be limited to any text written between the opening tag and the closing tag. This is the opening tag, although it has an attribute which is defining how the tag should function. So let's come here again and do href https softzenith.com. So the reason why we're using https is because these websites are secure. If they are not secure, if they don't support https, we use http. And because they are external websites, right? They are external websites, we use https. If they are internal website, what do we call internal websites? If you look at our code here, you can see that we have a folder. This is day 4 and this is day 3. Okay, so everything that we are doing on this our website here is still within a particular folder that we are working with. So day 3 and day 4 are in the same folder. So this folder is what we call workspace, right? It's what we call workspace. So as long as they are in the same folder, in the same workspace, we don't use HTTPS. We use this format, and I will show you later in our next class. These two dots shows that they are not in the same folder, that you need to leave a folder to enter the other folder. So we're going to discuss this properly in one of our sessions. So let's put this for Facebook. So we'll save this. If we go to let's go to our browser again. So we'll refresh our page. You see our links. You can see they're all in the same line. So let's try to separate them. We can put them in paragraphs, each of them in paragraph. So let me put them in paragraph because they are in the same line. All the links are in the same line. I want to put each of them in paragraphs so they can be in different paragraphs in different lines. Let's go to our editor again. So I'll put each of them in paragraph. So I'll open a paragraph P and close it, and then carry this my link. So a tag can be written inside the another tag. So when I carry this link and put inside this paragraph now, it will keep this in a new line. So let me create another paragraph for the second link. You can see it is between this. So let's create another paragraph. Let's see. It's properly formatted now. So let me save. Let me go to my browser. So this is our browser. So let's refresh it. You can see that they are all in different lines now. So when we click on this guy, see it takes us to the former website or the last class. Let's go back. This is Google. We'll click on Google. You can see it opens google.com. Can you see? These are external links. We'll go back again. Click on Softzenith. It goes to Softzenith website. See it. So we'll go back again. Click on facebook.com. That's Facebook. It takes us to Facebook website. You can see it, Facebook website is loading. So let's go back again. So that's how it works. So thank you so much, guys. I believe you enjoyed this session. If you really enjoyed this session, say I enjoyed it, I love it. Drop it in the comment section. Just give us your feedback. And then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Share this to your friends, share it on your WhatsApp, share it to groups, share it to your friends, share it everywhere and tell them to join us. They can always watch this session even if we are not live. They will see it and relive it. So let's come here and then do kind of a recap. Look at what we have done today. So today we looked at having a HTML page, the open and the closing HTML, which defines the boundary of our website. We have this doc type HTML, which defines the version of our website as version 5, HTML5. So inside this open and closing HTML tags, we'll write our code, all the code we want to write for our website. So remember that the HTML web page is divided into two, the head and the body, right? So the body and the head. So the head contains some important information which are not always displayed on the browser for people to see. For instance, it contains the title of our website like we have here, and then we have the body. The body contains every other thing that people see on our website from top to bottom. So we have a H1 tag here which defines a title, a super title, bigger title than other ones. We have H1, H2, H3 to H5. And we have a paragraph here defined by open and closing P tag. And then we have another paragraph. We have H2 element here, the open and closing H2 tags. We have paragraphs here as well. This is H3, this is P, which is paragraph, and then we have unordered list. We have two types of list, ordered and unordered. Unordered lists appear with asterisks or bullet points, while ordered lists appear with numbers, alphabet, and the rest depending on the configuration. The default is numbers. So, for instance, if we want to change it to alphabet, we have a property that does that. But we discuss that in other classes. So we have the H5 and the H6. You can also go and do your research for yourself how you can convert it to ABC or 1 to 3. Even this guy can be converted from bullet points to other signs like asterisks, checkboxes, and the rest. Okay. So we have H5 here, have H6, and we have our hyperlinks. This is a link to take that. This one is within our website. It's more like an internal link. And then this is also an external link that leads us to other websites. So the href here is an attribute that defines the boundary or that defines the location of where the link of this particular hyperlink should be taking us to. Okay, so this is it, and this is the end of today's session. Okay, so if you have any question, if you have anything you want to say, please don't hesitate to ask your question. I will give you guys like 2 more minutes to drop your questions, or 3 more minutes, and I will attend to the question time. So please, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed to our channel, and also share this to your friends. Share this everywhere and let them join us. We'll meet here on on Tuesdays by 4 p.m. West African time, and Thursdays 4 p.m. West African time. We also have um, a Telegram community where we answer our questions. If you have any challenge or any question, you come to our Telegram community, you hit us, and we'll answer your questions and attend to any challenge you have. So don't forget to join our community on Telegram for a closer relationship with you, so that we can always understand how you are faring in the boot camp. So this boot camp is a 5 weeks boot camp. We just completed week 2, and we'll be having tasks for this week. So it's good that you join us on Telegram so that you can actually follow the assessment that we give for everybody on Telegram. So this is the Telegram link, and I'm going to leave it also in the description of this video. So even if you're watching this video afterwards, you can always come back here and see the Telegram link, right? So follow us on our social media platforms so you can get updates on other programs that we have running. Softzenith, follow us with Softzenith on YouTube, so subscribe to our channel on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. We are everywhere. So let me also drop our social media links. Our social media links is always attached to the description of our videos. So when you come to our videos, ensure to go through the description and find important information that you need to follow us, and also to engage actively and properly in this session, right? So don't forget that you'll be given a certificate of participation, and this certificate of participation can only be given to you if you are active, part of our community, and also you are doing your assessment in the community. All right, guys. So if you have any question, I'm still waiting for your questions. And even if you don't have a question now and you discover a question some other time in the future, you are always welcome to drop your question even on this chat box, right? You're always welcome to drop your question even on this, on the comment section of this our session here, right? So feel free to always ask us questions and we'll address it. But we'll also appreciate it if you join our community, follow through. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you guys. We help you to become better as web developers, as software engineers. And we're also software engineers and we build software engineering solutions. So if you have anybody or you have a need for a website or mobile application, a desktop application for a business or for anything you do, okay, don't hesitate to visit our website. You see our contact on our website, www.softzenith.com is our website. I will drop the link as well. So you feel free to visit our website and request for our services, and we will definitely give you a nice service for web development, web application development, and any software solution automation that you may need in any industry where you work in your school, your projects will help you and put you through. So, guys, uh, for joining us today, we appreciate you. Thank you and stay tuned on further announcements and instructions that will be passed on in our Telegram group. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye, guys.